Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of VeVe Vantage Podcast. Today is a very special episode. I will sound pretty weird, and if you watch this episode on YouTube, you will not see my face because I just had two wisdom teeth extracted. My face is swollen, like it looks like a balloon, so it looks ridiculous. And I have some stitches where the wisdom teeth were removed, and I have an excessive amount of saliva. So all in all, I look pretty messed up. And it's pretty painful. So I've been taking painkillers for the past several days. So I'm trying, but I I and Miss V always want to get high quality content out consistently, and I don't want to miss any episode because it's very enjoyable. So I'm fighting through the pain to bring you good content. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. So Mr. V, let's talk about the upcoming Funko Pop drop, and I want to provide folks with some general information because I recently wrote a long tweet about the Funko Pop VeVe collaboration and why it is a pretty big deal. At the basic level, it would be called the Funko Pop Gold Iron Man. So there are actually five variants. Think of it as five rarities and 3,000 mint total supply. So I think if you're lucky enough to land a first mint, then you could keep it because they didn't mention about holding back anything. So what you would do is you would go on the Funko Pop website on Wednesday, October 18th. You can then buy this collectible, and then you can redeem a code that comes with the collectible, the physical collectible, redeem that code in VeVe to get a rarity matching NFT. And I think it is a pretty big deal for several reasons. First, I need to talk about the price. When I saw the $150 a pop price tag, I thought it was pretty expensive because I didn't look at the size. It turned out to be 18 inches, which is 46 centimeters, or four times the size of a regular Funko Pop, which is only 4 inches. So it is pretty big. And the similar size Funko Pop, the other 18 inches, usually go for 60 to $100. So but for this particular one, you're getting a rarity matching NFT from VeVe. It is a pretty limited run with 3,000 editions, and it is a chase variant, meaning you get one out of the five rarities. And this is not the first physical product from VeVe, but the first physical of a big character and a major collaboration. And so I think that it is a pretty big deal because although it is online, if all things go well, we may see more of these VeVe Funko Pops placed in store shelves, which will bring more exposure to VeVe. Because if you walk into toy stores or collectible stores, you see Funko Pops everywhere. And as I mentioned in the previous podcast, VeVe is using big IPs like Lamborghini, Star Wars, Disney to promote the app on Facebook just because of the brand awareness that these brands have globally. But now having this physical thing will certainly bridge the gap for physical collectors to onboard to the app because it is very easy. Like they buy this 18 inches physical collectible, and it is risk-free for them to redeem the NFT from the app. And last but not least, I think the timing is pretty sweet. Right after New York Comic Con, which both of us are coming. So if you're there, say hi. So this is going to be on October 18th. So right after Comic Con, where VeVe, along with Funko and Marvel, both have a very big presence at the Comic Con, can build up awareness. And yeah, so Mr. V, you are a big fan of Iron Man. What do you think about this drop?
So we already have a couple of different collectibles on VeVe already. We already have the first appearance label assigned to the Golden Moment collectible, and then the last Comic-Con exclusive set of drops included the animated version of
Right.
Iron Man, and then with this Funko Pop version of a digital collectible, it looks pretty interesting. I would like to have all of the different rarities, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try and buy two of the Funko Pops. Although to be honest, I'm not a physical item collector
Yeah.
necessarily. So I'm more interested in getting the VeVe collectible. And then if I do manage to get something, then I would probably sell it on the market and then try and swap it for a nicer edition if I don't get one that I managed to redeem.
But that's gonna be tricky though, because then you would want to have the uh collectible as well, because they have the same mint.
Oh, do they?
I actually don't know. I actually don't know if they assign a mint on it. All they say is we're gonna have a rarity matching NFT. They didn't mention anything about a mint, but that is a pretty interesting observation, right?
Yeah. So okay. So if the physical collectible has a an edition number on the collectible itself or on
Mm-hmm.
the box, and then the digital collectible on VeVe has a matching edition number,
Mm-hmm.
then that would kind of incentivize people to hold on to those because, as we already know, let's say for example, the Todd Batman statue, there was a couple thousand of those in real life, and we already have seen on X people posting for the past couple of years whenever they manage to match the physical collectible to the
Mm-hmm.
digital collectible, right? Edition number, at least. So this would definitely incentivize people because it would make it that much more collectible to be able to match the two. But if that's not the case, then I would be more inclined to sell the physical collectible um, along with the digital collectible. Again, I'm not really, I'm not going to hold on to anything that I don't like. So I'm definitely going to pay whatever extra I need to try and buy a nicer edition number on the secondary market. But yeah, I'm going to try and get at least one or two of those Funko Pops. It's you know, I don't like how they look. It's
Yeah, same here.
I'm not I'm not a fan, and they kind of creep me out, but because it's Iron Man and it's a new version, right? It's the first digital collectible on VeVe for Funko Pops, and there's an asterisk on that comment because Wax also sold Funko Pop digital collectibles.
Okay.
So VeVe is not the first partnership that Funko Pops had, in the digital space. Were you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Well, that was a pretty big flop. So, and I was also listening in spaces about people who have experience with Wax and buying those digital collectibles of Funko Pops. A lot of those people lost some money. I don't even think it's fully operational now, or if there is a market. So they may have those on their digital wallets, but they I don't think that they have a secondary market available for those. This is what I think I heard. I think that's what I heard. So in all, I'm not crazy about it in general, and I want to kind of reserve my I want to kind of temper my expectations. I have reservations about it just because it's new, and also like people who collect, and we hear this pretty frequently. People who have in real life collectibles don't tend to shift over to the digital collectible side. Although if you flip it the other way, digital collectors start to collect physical items. So um,
That's what
you
I
know,
noticed too. Yeah.
I think this is going to benefit Funko Pops, the company Funko Pop, more so than it's going to benefit VeVe, to be honest.
Yeah. For me, I think this is a pretty reasonable drop in terms of like the price. I do agree with you. It's not the best looking Funko Pop. Um, but if I were to spend $150 and I get this, which is 18 inches, so I can, put it on my desk and it will look visible. It's not going to be like this tiny thing, like 4 inches that I might not be able to see. Like this is going to be like a pretty large collectible that I can display anywhere, and I get a matching NFT. then it is reasonable for me to go for it. A lot of drops nowadays, I'm not even going for because I will lose money. But for this one, I'm seeing something tangible at home, and I'm getting an NFT as well.
Yeah, it's gonna. I'm sure it's gonna be a different feel,
Mhm.
especially and here's the other thing. So we would have to wait until we get physical collectible mailed to us before we can redeem it, right? I don't think that they're gonna email a code. From my understanding, I think I heard Alex in Spaces talk about that. So you'd have to open the box to be able to access the code that to redeem the digital collectible on VeVe. So what does that mean as well? So like, would that automatically make you? Would that be considered opening the box? Like I've never dealt with those sort of things. I don't know how delicate the boxes are. Is it going to be like a sticker that you could kind of peel off?
Yeah, I think you have to open it in order to see the code, which is fine, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's that for the Funko Pop. So I've been having some observations of VeVe over the past couple of days, which is the quality of the collectibles have been getting a lot better, especially after I saw Miguel. You know, this new Miguel collectible that's coming out, the way he plays the guitar, the way he positioned his fingers to play all the chords and all the strings, and his eye movements and his eyebrows, I was very impressed. Same to the Haunted Mansion NFT and Genie. So, you know, a while back we had David on our show, right? And we asked him, you know, about the discrepancy between certain collectibles like Invisible Woman or Elektra and the good looking ones like Miles Morales. And he was mentioning how in Q3 and Q4 we will see a much different picture, a much more improved quality on these collectibles. And I do see that.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. So the only thing that I would add to that is that yes, the quality is there, but the edition sizes are still a little bit too high given the
Mhm.
current market conditions. And unfortunately, it's weird. So I was reading into this concept that's called positional goods. And the gist of it is when there's something that's scarce and desirable amongst the community that that's like really desired, the demand and because of that desirability and scarcity, that all plays into it being more valuable in almost any sense of the word, you know, monetarily, socially, and that's and like you name it. And a lot of the time when we're looking at collectibles, and at least when it comes to VeVe, the desirability was based on the scarcity. Like there were a lot of people holding on to these collectibles, but now as sentiment has continued to continue to decline, the desirability of these pretty significant pieces has gone down, and we're seeing people list these at floor and they're undercutting each other. And so we can see that I who was it? VeVe Fox was talking about how we're gaining approximately 13 users a day. Is that
Yeah.
right? Do you remember that?
I haven't watched that video yet, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I think it comes out to like 13 new users a day, but it doesn't mean that they're constantly buying everything, right?
Right.
So we may be gaining users, but the the influx of gems and isn't quite as consistent as we'd hope. What I'm trying to get at is with these positional goods, if these if our community members don't see a future with these things or like future uses or utility, then the desirability goes down. And so and the market prices reflect that, right?
Yeah.
And like for me, I could not care less about the floors going down. Like say if I buy something today, I don't care. It's leaving a bad taste in everyone's mouth, right? So the whole idea with these positional goods is VeVe's digital collectibles used to be considered positional goods. Like they were desired by many people, the prices were really high, but now we don't see that. So less and less people want to hold on to these things. Some people are selling them off, and they rather swap the liquidity for who knows what, maybe cashing out or swapping it for OMI. I'm not trying to bash on what's going on with the market activity or anything, or even the collectibles themselves. I'm just saying that we really do need a push.
Yeah.
We really do need a push for the future. We have to see something. And I think everyone's asking this question, what's the holdup from being able to see screenshots or video clips of the VeVeverse? Like, who cares if it's not finished? But we really do need to see some things to be able to keep us motivated to keep going as a community, right? I mean, I'm still doing my own thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still buying gems. I'm still collecting items and all of that. But we really do need something to envision the future a little bit better.
Yeah.
And words alone don't quite do it justice, because especially when it comes to social media, you could I could write a paper like, and I've thought about this many times. I have dozens and dozens of resources that I was thinking about writing a paper and using those resources to explain like why I think the longevity of the project would do well, but nobody's going to be reading it, and nobody could care, and very few would actually take the time to read it. People are more enticed with visual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pictures and videos. It's easy to consume. Text and talking about it, not so much.
Hey guys, just a quick message. Every week, I, Mr. V, work over 20 hours to bring you the most non-BS VV content. English is my second language, and there were nights we recorded until 1 a.m. My brain stopped processing, and I naturally spoke Vietnamese to him, and it got pretty weird. But that's just how dedicated we are to this podcast. In return, we ask you to enter a gentleman agreement. We will continue working until 1 a.m. for you, but we ask you to subscribe to the podcast, leave us a rating, and tweet at us to tell us what you think, because those comments will ultimately help us to refine the content just for you. That's it. That's all you need to do. Let's get back to it. Right. I do agree with you in a sense that in the past, it was more of an experience. Like VeVe was the whole experience. Like people would compete for drops, right? They would talk about it. They would hype each other up. They would share photos. And we can still see some of that today. But recently, and I'm saying maybe for the past couple months, VeVe to many people, myself included, has been more of a collectible store rather than an experience. And that is because there hasn't been anything happening to improve that experience for the past maybe a month or two. I think we take things for granted. I think like building a company and all of these features are very challenging. But I have to say that it's been pretty boring for the past maybe 6 weeks. And I do agree that they need to do more to get that activities and engagement and to get the focus back into the VeVe app. I've seen a lot of people cashing out. A lot of have not been keeping up with the recent drops. And we can see some of that in our Discord group as well. Like a lot of people haven't showed up for a long time. And I think the team needs to do more. I'm not asking for much, just thing that was supposed to come out a long time ago. Like we had our MCP point for months, right? But there hasn't been much ever since. There's no leaderboard, which I think is pretty easy to do, right? That will, get the competition going. That Twitter guy, Nordo Alive, like he's still calculating all the ranks on a weekly basis. VeVe should do that. VeVe should do that and have an official leaderboard and they should have some just things that people can do with the MCP points, because now you just go up a level and that's about it. There's not much you can do from it. And these things are the activities and the benefits that they've been talking for a long time, that we were expecting to be getting by this time already, right? We haven't seen that. I was expecting the wave 2 of VeVe's beta to go out, maybe a month ago, because like there was a lot of expectation and hype back then. I haven't seen that. Maybe they are just focusing on, product quality, marketing, because we're seeing more ads, or preparing for New York Comic Con. But for the majority of the VeVe users, I think people want to see something. People want to see reasons, more features, more things to do that will bring them back to the app. Because I'm on the VeVe Collectibles and Friends Facebook group, and for the past couple of weeks, I've seen more posts about the DC Comics or the McFarlane drops than VeVe, and that is not a good sign. So I know that David mentioned how they are, preparing to have more things coming out in Q4, which they typically do, but they need to have something out now.
Yeah, I'd say that it feels like there's been a lull, and I say that while also acknowledging that the drops that have been coming out have been really aesthetically pleasing. Like, they're just really nice pieces, really nice collectibles. Some of the comics have been pretty cool as well. But when if we were to look at Instagram or Twitter and we saw, like, you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you don't see anything that catches your eye for a long time,
Yeah,
chances are it's going to be tough to maintain people on that app, right? And I think that's kind of like the equivalent of, like, or like a parallel to what we might be experiencing on VeVe, but in, like, in a couple other ways. And there's, I don't know, I just can't quite put my finger on it. I acknowledge that they're doing a lot. They're doing a great job, I think, for the time being, and that they have some really big things in store. And I don't doubt for a second that we're going to have some wonderful
absolutely. Yeah.
items coming out, like, for Comic-Con exclusives, and for the rest of Q4, heading into the holidays and end of the year. But right now, my focus has shifted a little bit more off the app for a number of reasons. I'm not, and like, I see, like, was it DC Palm comics and collectibles, and then McFarlane, those things look really cool, but I just can't spread myself too thin. So I'm just kind of like stuck on one thing with VeVe for now, and
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints about it. I'm admiring the other platforms from a respectable distance, not that I have anything against them. It's just like, I'm not quite as liquid as I want to be, and I'd rather put it all in one basket than spread myself out.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not footing on anything. It's just more of like an observation, because in the last community update, I remember their main challenge was getting the waitlist to work properly, and they have been able to do that successfully. I just make this observation because I've seen many people cashing out and leaving, and I want them back. And I want to see VeVe just release, a couple of things at a time. Just the MCP leaderboard. It's not that hard. They already have all the points calculated. Now just put them in a certain order and show people where they at compared to their friends. That is a very simple thing that they can do to get some engagement back. Get people to say, "Oh, I'm beating you, Mr. V. I'm at rank, 523. You at 1,000, something like that." And then, see you 2 days later, go up 100 ranks. I know they have things that are coming out towards the end of the year, but it would be nice to have things coming out just in small increments today. So the last topic I want to talk about is that there's going to be a drop tomorrow with, I think, Ron English or something that we should get so that we can go to the party in New York. And this is the party on the 12th, October 12th, the Thursday, and not the other. I think there's going to be like a VeVe logo holder party on Friday. So this is for the VeVe party on Thursday. So both of us have to land a drop tomorrow to get to that party.
Yeah, it's the Ron English one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Propaganda.
That's the one, yeah.
All right. I see that the secret rare has 666 editions. The ultra rare has 1,111 editions. And the rare has 1,444 editions. So not too bad for edition.
Not too bad, yeah. For $30, that's not too bad for me.
What I'd like to know is, do I have to go for the drop and show a receipt for that, or could I just buy it on the secondary?
No, you have to go for the drop. You have to land the drop. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's what David mentioned.
All right.
Yeah, he said
okay,
that.
I guess I'll go for it.
Yeah, so you have to land the drop. It says right here that purchase any of the collectibles via blind box to receive an invite to the VeVe party celebrating New York Comic Con on Thursday, October 12th in New York City. Travel and accommodations not included. So you have to land this drop in order to go to this party.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll hold on to it just in case too.
Yeah, you have to hold on to it. That is it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed the episode today. And if you have, remember that gentleman agreement. We will continue working until 1 a.m. just for you. But in return, we ask you to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on the actionable and valuable insights, everything VeVe and Omi related. Don't forget to give us a rating and tweet at us to let us know what you think about the podcast so that we can refine the content better just for you. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again next time. Peace.